Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for braving the elements and coming out to what we're going to have today, which is an awesome conscious conversation. Focus on wealth, health, longevity, how we can take care of ourselves. We're at 80/20 Social, which is a business owned by Kevin Bazille and Jay Bazille of 80/20 Fitness. So before we jump into more while we're here, why don't you guys just come up maybe and say a few words about 80/20.
All right. So for those who don't know me, my name is Kevin Bazille. My wife, Kate Bazille. We are the founders of 80/20 Fitness. So I had a dream of this very moment where I had awesome clients speaking about their journey in front of an audience who are interested in health. And man, just to see it in real time, it's truly amazing. I'm truly passionate about helping leaders really take care of their health and provide self-care, because you have one life. You can make all the money in the world, but if you're not able to enjoy, the fruits of your labor because you're not taking care of your health, then it's really much wasted, right? So again, appreciate you guys for showing up and get inspired. Some amazing stories, Yes.
And in addition to that, we also want to thank you all for just showing up in general, as well as our vendors. You guys got some good food. You got some massages. You got some hypervolt situation. So you guys just enjoy everything that's here for you, and enjoy the moment. Enjoy each other.
Yes. Thank you guys.
All right, thanks, Kevin and Jay. So I'm Dr. Isaac Adai. I'm going to be moderating this panel discussion today. We've got a great group of panelists, and I'll give them a moment to introduce themselves here in just a second. But let me just set a little bit of context, right? So it's 15 degrees here in Nashville. For the audience that's live streaming, if you're somewhere warm, it's cold here. So enjoy where you are. Two of the things that people are struggling with today, particularly when we think about Black communities, health and wealth, right? And usually one leads to the other. The pursuit of wealth, the chase of wealth, the things that we're doing to try to survive end up killing us in the sense of we're not able to take care of ourselves. And so we have a group of people here who are all professionals, leaders in the community, doing various things to build wealth entrepreneurially and professionally, but they found ways to manage their health and take care of themselves as clients of 80/20 Fitness and as just people that are in the community. So we're going to unpack that today. We're going to talk about health, how we prioritize health, what triggers folks to get that health journey started, knowing that we're all focused on doing a lot of different things, in the case of some people, to pursue wealth, because we all want to have that longevity, right? So really quick, I'm reading two books. One is called Ikigai, The Japanese Secret for a Long and Happy Life, because I'm trying to be mentally healthy. And I'm reading The Psychology of Money, right? Which is talking also about wealth and happiness. But what I realized is, if I'm not taking care of myself, none of this matters, right? I got a message on Saturday of last week that somebody that I knew had a massive heart attack. They're no longer with us. They weren't taking care of themselves, but they were doing well from a wealth perspective. So we're going to have that conversation today. But before we dive into it, we want to hear from our panel. So I want to give everybody an opportunity to just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we'll dive into the conversation.
Starting with me. Yes. My name is Delisa Guerrier. My husband and I own Guerrier Development, which is a development company started here in Nashville, Tennessee. We've seen a lot of facets of the entrepreneurial space, and just excited about the growth here in the city and what we have the ability to do. We started small, just little homes. Actually, our first development was just down the street from this building, and now we're building quite a bit of projects in Middle Tennessee, along with a theme park that, although you've not seen it in the news, it is still in the works and a lot farther along than people know. So we're excited to share more. In terms of the fitness side, my journey with Jade and Kevin started long before 80/20. They have been some of our closest friends and business associates since we were young in business as well. And they've really been a huge inspiration in the journey of just our health journey. My husband is an avid athletic guy. He runs. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Most people don't know that I was 220 pounds after having 3 kids at the time. I now have 4. And it was through the seeds that were planted by these 2 that have helped me to get where I am. So.
Good afternoon. I'm Kendra Hayslett, and I am an obstetrician and gynecologist, or OBGYN. My passion and specialty is women's health, and I'm the medical director over at Centennial Women's ER Hospital, and that's where I work. And I'm a laborist full-time, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Real quickly, I've been with Kevin and Jay for almost 2.5 years now, and just how small Nashville is, this guy here is the one who actually hooked me up with him. And I remember Kevin telling me when I just had my twins, and they're 4, and he said, I remember me rolling in with them in the stroller, and we had just met, and we got hooked up, and we're almost 50 pounds later, so. It all goes together, so health and wealth, like you said, one leads to the other, and we can get a little bit deeper into that later.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nicole Joseph. I'm an associate professor of mathematics education at the Peabody College at Vanderbilt. I've been in Nashville since 2016, and a good friend, colleague of mine, his name is Chaz Flowers, actually introduced me to Kevin and First Lady Jay. It's just been amazing, and we'll talk more later.
Hey, my name is Turner Nash. I'm in between jobs right now. I'm trying to figure out. This is my full-time job in Kevin District City. My full-time job is trying to figure out how I can be the best me that I can be. And that is such a blessing to have the time to be able to do that. So, been in Nashville 16 years, and I'm just, if you will allow me. My wife had a podcast called the Phyllis Nash Experience, and I heard her interview with Brazil. And as I'm walking through the house, I'm like, man, I need to work out. I'm like, but not today. and by the time I hit my point of thought that we'll talk about later, I called him and I said, man, I've been ducking you. And I know I've been ducking you. Let's get together. So 70 pounds ago that was. Thank you for having us today. I think that you may think that you're a small business owner, but I don't think that you realize how big of an inspiration the 2 of you are. So keep pushing.
There's a lot of pressure in this room following this great family. I'm Alfonso Harvey. Came to Nashville 29 years ago. Good Lord. Proud husband, proud father, and I was nearly dead after I got married. There's a lot of people in this room that inspire me. This man to my left told me I wasn't working hard enough, pissed me off, and motivated the hell out of me. And then my ego had to get in check because I was a former student athlete and had never had anyone else help me on my fitness journey. Been working out since 1990, man. And I said, you know what? Kevin had been reaching out, and I was like, I'm at a point in my life where and a lot of people know me from parties and most recently cooking a lot. I could eat what I want because I can afford what I want, and that led me to being nearly dead without me knowing it. And it's funny, you look back with your wife and you say, damn, baby, you loved me when I was like that. So I got with Kevin, and my wife got with Jade, and 95 pounds later, I can run after my 4-year-old and my 18-month-old and not be winded. And man, I'm just, if you gotta have some balance. I could go on, but we all have a lot to talk about with personal health and your personal wealth journey. So I'm excited to share with you all today.
Awesome. Just kind of another round of applause. So we're going to unpack some more about those stories as we go along. I'll just briefly share my 80-20 story, because everybody up here has been blessed by Kevin and Jade in one capacity or another. I ran into Kevin at a party. I was standing in line to buy a drink, and him and Jade were standing behind me. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Aren't you Isaac?" And I was like, "Yep." And he was like, "Yeah, we need to talk." All I knew was brother was in shape, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, listen, let's have this conversation. And that was a 6-month conversation. And 6 months after that, that was December 2018. By June 2019, I was a client at 80-20 Fitness. Not knowing that my life was about to be saved because of Kevin and Jay, because of what I was getting ready to go through in my personal life. And so that fitness journey through the summer and fall of 2019 is what allowed me to survive the pandemic, because the pandemic was one of the most difficult things we've all been through. And I stepped away from 80-20 for a bit, came back in summer of 23 at another turning point in my life, and Kevin and Jay were there to save me again in terms of helping me get my mind and my body together to endure what I was facing. So you two, if you don't know, have touched a lot of people's lives in this city, not just through fitness, but just through being who you are. So I want you all to get your flowers. Let's get them around. Yes, we talk about y'all. Y'all deserve it. All right, so everybody goes through things, right? And we all, at some point in our lives, decide, okay, I have to do something now. Because if I don't know if I'm gonna survive. So for you all, and we'll get into the professional piece, but from a health perspective, what was the turning point? What happened that made you say, okay, I have to work on this now. I have to take control of my health. We'll let everybody share if you want.
I'll start. So I've always worked out, but not as consistently as I have since I've gotten here. But last year I went through a divorce, June of 2023. And prior to like all the paperwork being finalized, it was stressful. We was trying to live in the same house. The house was big enough for me to live upstairs, to live downstairs. And, it's expensive. So, you try to make it work. We weren't like fighting or anything like that. So we were trying to figure it out. But over time, it became a struggle to live in the same house. So I was having some physical challenges in my body. And my therapist was like, listen, Nicole, you gotta get focused. You gotta start working out because the toxins in your body. And I just started doing things, just, trying to go to the gym or whatever. When I met these guys, definitely elevated it to a whole other level. But I think that was the thing. I could have been bitter and all those things, but I just chose to take control of my health, but also like the physical health, but also the mental health. So I was in therapy going, I stay in therapy. But I think that's what it was. I think the divorce and really just pushing me to really kind of focus on, getting my body in shape and my mind in shape.
I think for me, my career at this point kind of pushed me. Most successful CEOs are relatively healthy. Part of the game is longevity, and people will make you a martyr if you die early, but I mean, what's the fun in that? So I'm in healthcare. I run a business that's a medical equipment provider, and we actually work in women's health. But you see a lot of people at different points in the journey, and I'm just like, I'm in this space. I need to be more upright and healthy than you had in the family component. Your knees hurt, you're mad all the time, you can't sleep. Just a whole lot of just disgruntledness. Just it's like at a point, when is enough enough? You know what I mean? So that's for me.
For me, there was this interesting thing that happened when I no longer recognized myself. And it wasn't in the mirror. In the mirror, I was who I see. I was myself. But in pictures, I would say, who is that? I wasn't that person. And I didn't see over the years, and my husband, I've been married almost 14 years now, and I could see that he loved me so much through it. He couldn't tell, no one could tell me what I had become. It took me to see it myself. And then there was this day when my kids, we put them in public school, long story, but anyway, we put them back in public school, and my son was getting dropped off in front of the house. And he gets off the bus and he looks a little deflated. He's probably in about the 4th or 5th grade at the time. And he says, oh, the bus said that you're fat. And he was heartbroken. And I had to sit with that because in the mirror, I didn't look fat. But everything about me, my clothes didn't feel right. And it was this moment, this mental shift that had to happen to make me actually step up and do something about it.
That's right.
I think my journey is almost opposite because I, like Nicole, had kind of always worked out, and like Fonzo, always worked out, played basketball, played volleyball, did karate, I swam. And I think it was a denial type of thing. Like, you see yourself the way you see yourself, and you see yourself every day. So that, if I gain a pound a week, I don't know that I gained that pound a week until I lose 50 pounds, and I go back and look like, damn, I ain't nobody say that. And then, so mine came after the fact, but the thing, like I said, Alfonso had told me about Kevin and Jade, and he was like, yeah, I'm doing work, and we get it in, and this is happening, and I'm making gains, and I was coming back from small town, rural town America in Martin, Tennessee in 2021. And when I was coming back, I said, you know what? And I had been working out in the gym there just on my own. And I said, you gotta do something different and get something different, right? And so Alfonso was like, I got this guy. I was like, well, and I trust Alfonso. So I said, well, I'll meet him. And like Isaac, the journey was about 6 months.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I got these twins, and I had all the excuses, And I said, maybe get back. I said, I started a new job, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. He said, well, and I tell you what, Kevin is persistent. And so when it came back around, he was like, it's been 6 months. I'm just checking back in. So we started afoot upon this journey, and we're still building. So.
Good.
So, sort of being a lifelong entrepreneur, you You just get focused on incessantly working 8-hour days, turning to 12, turning to 16, turning to 20. And over the time of that 20, you put on a pound, 5 pounds. Everything is let's go out to dinner, let's go out to lunch. You have a steak, you have spaghetti, it's 9 o'clock, you're drinking wine, you go back. You multiply that over a number of years. I thought I made it. I got a buddy of mine who's got a private plane. He's like, take your license. I'm like, bet. I go in, you gotta have a physical. So the doctor's like, let me take your blood pressure. So he puts on the cuff, taps it, does it again. He says, let me go get a machine. I'll be right back. I was like, man, this equipment don't even work. So he comes back in, it's like, man, I can't give you this. You might pass out. I said, you need to go to the doctor, your blood pressure is whatever it was. So I go to the doctor, he's like, man, your blood pressure is crazy. I want to do a blood panel right now. And I was like, okay. So he does a blood panel, he's like, I'm gonna call you tomorrow. I go back in tomorrow, the next day. He says, man, you know, cholesterol's high, blood pressure's high. He named out like 7 things. And I was like, wow, he goes down. You can go home, but I don't want you to go home right now. You need to go straight to the pharmacy and get these scripts. And I was like, man, you're still not settled in your mind that you're in that bad of a position. So I go home, this is how bad it is, right? And I sit all the medicine on the counter, and then I'm on the bar side of the counter with some Ben & Jerry's. And I was like, damn, that looks like my grandmother's medicine cabinet. That's my granny's medicine cabinet sitting over there. And now I have to take that. And that was a moment where I was like, oh shit, I might die. I don't want to die from being overweight. And if it's something I can do about it, I think I was maybe 46 or 47 at the time. But I won every other thing that I'd done. I'd just not made health a priority. So I shared with Kevin, I shared with my wife, I said, I'm gonna turn my health into another business for me. And my schedule changed, my eating changed, a lot of things changed, but you gotta make a sacrifice in order to make that work. So that was my journey. I was scared. I remember I was sitting in the doctor's office and there was a lady next door and I could hear them yelling at her through the wall because she had diabetes. They were like, you come here one more time like this, we're gonna cut your foot off. And I was like, man, that's how the story ends, right? I'm at the beginning of the story, but that's maybe how it ends. So real consequences to how you live.
Thank you all for the transparency and the vulnerability and what you shared. Everybody goes through stuff. Nobody in this room is immune to struggle. And it's always surprising because we think that success means you don't struggle, right? Or wealth means you don't go through things, but it could not be farther from the truth. Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, died of pancreatic cancer. He was a billionaire, and when he was dying, he was saying, wow, my money can't save me. I got billions, I'm still gonna die. Pancreatic cancer is one of the worst forms of cancer you can get. Why is it, and this is a question for you all, why is it that we have to choose, or we feel as though we have to choose between health and wealth? What's behind that from your perspective?
I think it's a fallacy, which is a result of us just being in America, right? Like you go overseas and the capitalistic motive, I'll say, is just not as strong as it is here. It's family, it's community, it's a whole bunch of things. Over here we're get the bag first and everything else will fall in line, which is so not true. I also think that we're more of a what's in it for me type of society. So we might be scared to tell our friend, bro, you put a little bit too much weight. Let me just keep that to myself and worry about me. You know, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I would love to hear what the remaining panel would have to say.
Well, I would say honestly, I think part of it is exposure. In my former life, I worked at UPS, and this is a lesson I always stuck with me. And we'd be out on the trucks, have my guys that be delivering, I'd be observing. And, and it's 12 o'clock in these deep neighborhoods, deep in Williamson County. You know, it's one athlete neighborhood, it's 1,700 houses or something. And to a T, everybody was home in the middle of the day. Everybody had on workout clothes. And I'm like, park that thought, right? And that became kind of an aspirational goal that at 12 o'clock, man, I'm gonna have on some yoga pants. I'm in the gym. But I think part of it is exposure. We think we're supposed to grind, we're supposed to sacrifice, we're supposed to give up, and we don't pay attention to the signs. And man, when you in your 20s, your 30s, you can stay up all day and not need some sleep. Let me tell you something. 47 in a couple weeks, I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed. And I think if I had a little bit more of that mental clarity of understanding to listen to my body earlier, it would have made even greater dividends. So that's my little piece of it.
I think to kind of expound on that, exposure, you know, you think about where you get exposure from. So, you know, I think about legacy and just history, just growing up. And so, you know, as Black and brown people, a lot of us, I would say the majority of us, you know, we always are taught, you know, you want your kids to have more than what you have, right? But, you know, historically, we as a people are, you know, underrepresented, underinsured, we are less healthy, we eat worse, we work out less than our counterparts. And so where does that come from? That's historically, you know, what we've seen as far as, we were talking about this earlier, fried chicken, fried pork chops, you know, greens and ham hocks and, you know, chitlins. And so, but you know, that's what we see, and that's how we've been raised, and that's what I saw my grandmama making, a hot water cornbread, and that's how we eat. Okay, but then if you see something different again, then you do something different, and you can be different. And so I think it, again, exposure to the bad things versus exposure to the good things or the better things. And the same thing with wealth, right? So we've been programmed, a lot of us, to work so hard and not programmed to work out as hard. And, you know, and that just goes, you know, legacy, generation, and, you know, until you do something to change it on both sides.
I think everyone hit the points that I would make, and I guess for me, the two things are representation and balance. I don't know that we have been taught how to balance and how to make that one of the priorities. Number one. Number two, in my journey to build Storyville Gardens, which is based off literacy, the one thing that we found is that a lot of children don't read because they don't see their parents reading anymore. And I think it's the same thing when it comes to working out. If I didn't see my husband get up in the morning and run 3 miles, like he was just going to grab a bowl of cereal, it's like I don't know that I would even, that made me, I said, I want to know what people love about reading. It woke something up, what they love about running, and all my conversations are about reading these days, but it made something wake up within me, and I think that's the piece that's missing, is that representation.
I guess the only thing that I would add is to the nuance, particularly what Kendra said, is Black women. So y'all know that Black women have been dying like flies, and I'm in higher ed, and so there have been in the last, 3 months, y'all saw what happened to the president at Harvard being pushed out, president at Temple University dropped dead. and another, she wasn't president, but she was like a higher, she committed suicide.
Yes.
At an HBCU, so, I mean, we can even go there and make it even more complex, right?
Yep.
But the reality is that, you know, Black women, Malcolm X said it in 1963, that we are not protected. You know, we are so disrespected in this country. And, you know, we work like crazy, right? And I think when we do that, somehow we believe that that is going to, you know, give us the validation that we are looking for, give us the wealth that we are looking for, but we do that to death, basically. Like, that's just so real. And so, you know, we need to build up each other, particularly, you know, Black women need to build up each other, especially around this health. I've been telling all my faculty, women friends, Kevin knows this, about 80-20 because, you know, we work like crazy. We got published to get tenure, you know, like all the things, right? And I just feel like there needs to be a serious focus on Black women's health. In the corporate world as well as in, you know, higher education.
Thank you all for sharing, which kind of segues into my next thought that I wanted to explore, which is the mental health piece of things. When we think about fitness, we usually think about the body in terms of our physical fitness, right? Strength, endurance, running. I'm a runner, I can relate to your husband. But the mental health piece, I think, is something that we have to, in our community, really take seriously, because there are remnants of that all around as well, based on some of the things that you described. One of the biggest benefits that I got from 80-20 was not losing 25 pounds and becoming stronger, but it was that my mind was clear and I felt more sane mentally. I mean, I just did. And Kevin always said, well, if your body feels good, your mind will feel good. You know, and it's like, well, okay, my mind's going crazy right now. You know, there's a connection there. And in our community, for whatever reason, you know, historically, there's this stigma around mental health, right? My mother is a mental health therapist. I've known about therapy my whole life. I didn't really take therapy seriously until last year. And it was because Marcus Whitney told me that all the multimillionaires and billionaires, you know, have one thing in common, and that's they go to therapy. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I want to go to therapy too. And so it changed my life. So as we think about this conversation from a mental health perspective, how have you all prioritized that and managed that in addition to your physical health?
Well, I can tell you that stress will kill you. And I didn't realize it, how serious it could be until the walls were closing in, because 23 was a tough year. And I had to find my own mechanisms to cope. It couldn't be alcohol or people. Those are destructive elements for me. But I was like, man, let me get this workout in. Man, let me go to church. Let me go talk to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And I started going back to church. I started taking a moment to kind of center myself, sit with myself for a moment and just process. Because, you know, when you don't take your mental health serious, you'll lash out and you'll hurt those closest to you. And I've gotten good at apologizing before I do anything. Sweetheart, I'm having a rough day. Let me go sit with myself for just a moment. You know, go downstairs to the sauna and just veg out on some Larry June or something. Hey. But yeah, I mean, you gotta find your method. So that was for me.
Mental health is probably the most important thing that I focus on, because when I wake up in the morning and I pray, one of the first things I thank the Lord is that I woke up in my right mind. So as part of my package, therapy is required. I'm a pastor, I don't speak that. You know, you have to take care. as we grow, it's hard being a black man in this country. I'm not really taking anything away from anybody else, but we spend a lot of our time taking care of everybody else as best we can. And there's very little time that we leave for ourselves. And there's a phrase that my therapist has. She goes, "You're not being selfish, you're being self-full." What are the things that you need to do to fill yourself up in order for you to continue to help other people? So that's the list that I focus on. Therapy, church, working out, spending time with my wife, spending time with my kids in conversation, and removing people from my life that I don't like. I deal with a lot of people. It doesn't mean I don't like them, right? Because hurt people, you've all heard that. But I want relationships that are easy. I don't want to have to work at it. And for me, that attributes to my mental health.
Word. Anyone else want to share?
You know, like Kevin always says, mental health is wealth. And I, like Turner, you know, like to be self-efficient, okay? So that, you know, you're not selfish, you're self-full. I like to be also self-efficient. And it's hard because, you know, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do, just like Turner was saying, everything for everybody. And to still be balanced, a balanced individual. And I think balance does start with your mental well-being. Because if you're not right here, you can't be right anywhere else. And so that, you know, when you become self-efficient, then you're able to adequately balance the mental issues and changes and the weight of everything else that's going on around you. And I used to always tell people about 80-20. When I would tell them about 80-20, I say, yeah, you know, we're losing weight, we're getting stronger, we're working hard, we're sweating it out. But I also say the other thing that I love about the program is that at the end of each workout, I felt like Kevin was invested in every person's mental well-being, and that, you know, we would share what our health win was, we would share what our personal win was, and we always end the workouts with, you know, a saying and, you know, 3, 2, 1, oh, he's scared. Oh, you know what I'm saying? And I felt like he was really invested in our mental health in addition to our physical health, and I think that's the beginning of, you know, the total person and your well-being.
Yeah, I'll build on that. So I've really been working. I feel like I got therapy on lock now because I have been working on this for probably 2-3 years, because I already know I would have been in prison or, you know, dead, basically. And that's just real talk. I mean, you know, I don't have no criminal background or anything like that, but everybody got it, you know, if somebody takes you there. And so, you know, therapy is just lovely, y'all. You got to get into therapy. But the other thing that I love about the 80-20 is, I don't know if y'all have y'all done the journal yet? The questions. The questions. Have you done the journal? Am I the only one that did the journal?
We have a few other people.
Oh, Lord.
It was some real questions.
So in the journal, do you remember? So there'd be questions like, you know, name something that was a part of your background that created trauma that you are now, you know, like working on as a leader. So he's connecting all of these dots and helping you to like really go deep. I was telling Dr. Jasmine about this. She said, I ain't ready to go. But I've just never seen a program that's holistic like that, that has the mental health pieces as well as the physical pieces. In addition to just being community, like I feel like I don't even really know these folks, but I feel like it's my family, you know, because of the community that they have created. But the mental health piece is just, it's important. you're not gonna be able to get anywhere if your mind ain't right.
Oh, mine is just really quick. I will just say that the power of prayer is real. And I know that it is, one of my designers always says 1 + 1 = 3. And it is in the intimate time of working out when you're walking alone or whatever it is you're doing that, you know, the Lord says that, when you are with Him, you know, it's amazing. The Lord, the Holy Spirit. So.
I love it. Thank you for sharing
Why am
that.
I the only one that's done a journal?
Yeah, you got a custom program. I don't know about the journal. Maybe you just have to there's numbers to it. So, all right, let's really quick talk about social media. Show of hands if you're on social media. Just about everybody. All right. I feel like that's been something that has impacted our health as a people, as a community. And now the research is showing it, the anecdotal evidence is showing it, the way in which we leverage platforms like social media are impacting us. And, you know, I'd like to know if you all have experienced that or not. I personally have kind of distanced myself from social media because I was addicted. I'm not even gonna lie. I was addicted to Instagram and it was bad. And so now I barely use it and I'm so much more productive. I'm more present and focused and I'm not thinking about what I'm missing. What's you guys' experience, if any?
I feel blessed. I've never really had an addictive type of personality, so I love social media. I used to put challenges, exercise challenges, this is way before these guys, on social media, created like pages, like, okay, we're gonna do the squat challenge, you know. So I have always used it to find things to help me, actually. And like today, like Kevin records us. So I have been putting my journey basically on Instagram and people are like, oh my God, you're inspiring me. One of my good friends who's a dean of a college at the University of Arizona, he's like, Doc, he calls me Doc. He's like, Doc, I done lost 30 pounds. You know, you just inspired me. I've been looking at your videos. So I have been able to, thank God, use social media in a very positive way that has both helped me and it appears that I am helping other people.
So, you're right. Get in there, my wife will tell you. Get off the phone. I have turned it, honestly, into a source of laughter. I got some really good friends that send me the funniest, goofiest stuff. And sometimes I just need to laugh because I've been under so much stress. It's like, man, y'all silly. Like, the jokes keep coming. I will tell you a bad place that is social media. It's like, don't look at them chefs before you go to bed. Wake up one to make a pepperoni and pizza, chicken sandwich.
The algorithm.
Yeah.
My algorithm, I don't see food. So.
Well, I know I'm cooking. But I mean, it is basically a never-ending faucet of whatever stimuli you're looking for. And you need to be mindful. I'm grateful that there are some things built into it. You know, like Instagram. Oh, you wanna calm down, or you wanna like 11 o'clock is because 11 o'clock is when I really look at it. You know, I am concerned about it with my children because for any of you all with small children, that just give them an iPad, send them on YouTube. Man, they could be watching a kid's video. And the next thing you know, they into some kind of crazy. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's on any of, I mean, you can lock it down however you choose. So be mindful of that. But yeah, I mean, you definitely need to monitor how you consume it.
I'm not on the social much. I've not had the challenge of it personally, but I would agree with you that I have found that it does disrupt my household as it relates to our children. consuming and me having to backtrack and my wife having to backtrack to explain something. Now, you talk about a mental health journey with a family. Having your kids see something that they can never unsee online is traumatic. And the other thing about social, and I'm not gonna say social specifically, but just having this damn phone in your pocket, next to your bed, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, all day is just unhealthy. It's an unhealthy tool because it doesn't allow you to break away and have a face-to-face conversation or a face-to-face meeting like this. So the challenge is, again, having real relationships. And quite honestly, if you think about it, everybody in here knows that the ish that people are posting ain't real. We sitting down at the house about a month ago, and these two white chicks are like, "Oh, can we have your empty cups?" And we're like, "Yeah, we work here. What's up?" Well, we about to post back to work that we drinking down in the Bahamas. And I'm like, "Why don't you just go get a drink?" Right? There's so much thought that goes into the fakery of it that you're bypassing the enjoyment of the real life that you live. Right? So, yeah.
I agree, and I like you. I've seen it on Facebook when it first started back in, I don't know when it was, but I remember in college where it was a whole thing. And to see what it has become now is, like Turner said, it's so big that I have disconnected from it. I don't really, I'm on there here and there, and I post little things, but it's more that is not real than what is real. And to me, it has been, I just connected.
See, I'm not the only one with the addiction. No, all right, couple more questions and then we'll let the audience ask any questions if they have them. One of the things that I think changed for me with 80-20 was the compounding habits shift and the focus on getting the habit in place and being committed to it. And I think with anything, persistence and sticking with it and building habits around it help you be successful. So how have you all maintained consistency with your health journey? What are some things that you've done that maybe can benefit others? Because that's the thing that's the hardest, I think, for everybody, including myself. It's getting started, but then keeping it going and falling off and then getting it started and keeping it going. And I don't know how Kevin and Jay do it. They are two of the most consistent people I've ever met. I think Kevin works out. How many times a day you work? At least two?
Once a day.
Oh, okay. Jay telling the truth. We were trying to get the once a day. This man working out twice a day. But what have y'all done to help build that muscle of consistency?
I mean, for me, it's just, looking in the mirror every day, and, we try to keep consistent goals, Kevin and I fight Kevin. He'll never say it out loud, but he's like, he try to do hints, he be like, when's the last time you did intermittent fasting, Kevin? And I was like, I don't know. And so for me, it's just, I am my biggest competitor every day. And people say that, but, and Kevin said, we work out. I encourage others around me, but by me encouraging you, it encourages myself. So it's kind of a selfish reason. But
I think it's a little bit more like you leave everyone else in the dust.
But that's how I do it. I have to encourage myself. I was just talking to my wife about this. Niecy Nash, when she won that Emmy, she was like, you have to encourage yourself, speak words into yourself, speak life into yourself. And, when I get up every morning and thank God for being in my right mind and for our babies and our houses and all the stuff that we can do and we need to do and we can do everything we want to do. It's all about encouraging myself so that I'm not, 50, 55, 60, and I have all the wealth and I can't enjoy it because I'm not healthy. And so, when I go to work and everybody's like, ooh, Dr. Hazel, you looking slim. I'm like, thank you. And so, but that makes you feel good, and so, you want to continue to do that, and not for others, but for myself and for my kids and just for my future. And I just try to consistently encourage myself and encourage others to do the same.
So for me, like, there's a lot of motivations, but I have like this mental, what do you call it, vision board. So during the pandemic, the greatest basketball player in the history of the NBA, LeBron James. They were in the bubble, and they've been playing or whatever. And there was this picture this man posted with him walking out, and he had his shirt open, and it's like, oh, they better get Savannah down there. Because LeBron had his chest poked out and his shirt open, and I was like, man. And his wife commented under it. I was like, man, I gotta make that moment for my household. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make that happen. So, but the other thing too, I took a saying that Shannon Sharp and a few other people say, do something before do something. I try to work out early in the morning before my kids get up, and get something done, because once 7 o'clock hits, them little feet start running. Even during this pandemic, as much as I was cooking, I was working out. As much through the snowstorm, which was a mini pandemic. I try to do something in, because I never want to be back in a position when I got with Kevin. I think in a minute I could do like 10 sit-ups. Man, I probably do about 30 right now.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? And just you don't want to lose that. Oh my God, I never had that. Never. So I can keep going.
So I think this is such an individualized question because for me, I had to identify what my weaknesses are. And my weaknesses are, I find an excuse to not go 30 minutes away to go to eat. It's making it convenient is what has allowed me in my life right now, of all the things, I need some convenience when it comes to the things that are important. So that's what I do.
What is it? Make it attractive.
So simplify it,
Simplify
stack it, and place it.
Yeah, place it. So I've tried to do those things. And also I just feel great, right? And my daughter's 26, y'all, and every time we're together, they think we're sisters, not mother and daughter. And so I'm like, we can just keep that going. And my daughter said, Mom, you're aging backwards, you know? I was like, what does that mean? She was like, Mom, when you were younger, you looked older. Now that you're older, you look younger. And so, that's like vain part, but the real reason is that I just feel good. And now it is such a habit that it is like brushing my teeth. Ain't nobody gonna miss brushing their teeth, right? So I am not gonna miss doing my workout. Even if it's, just a little something or whatever, I'm going to get it in. And it's because I just feel so good at this point. And like you were saying, I don't wanna give it up. Like, I want to keep going, so.
I remember not being able to walk upstairs without breathing. I remember not being able to sleep on my back because I couldn't breathe. I remember a lot of those things. I probably worked out with Kevin over 500 times, and there is a single morning where I said, I can't wait to go work out. The hardest part too is going into the gym. And after that, the muscle memory takes over. And then you start to have these goals. And the imagery where you're saying, right? Like I think when I started with Kev, I was like 4XL, big and tall section. Then it went to 3, then it went to 2, then it went to 1. And I texted him, I said, oh shit, I'm back in the regular clothes again. 2XL, it's coming down some more. But, it's those small wins, and you get in trouble sometimes when somebody's like, man, you lost so much weight, you look good, and in the back of your mind, that little fat dude is like, man, we got some because we looking good and we're gonna work it off tomorrow. But when you think about it, man, it's stacking. I don't win every day. You know what I'm saying? I just don't win every day. And I have this really weird thing where I have a confessional on Monday morning. I'll be like, hey, dog, I had 2 cookies. I had this, I had that. And he'd be like, all right, well, let's get going. You know what I mean? There's no judgment.
That's right.
And man, as Alfonso said, he used to have these things when we started where, how many of these can you do in a minute? Man, I would just be deflated walking up out of these joints. And I remember he was like, go get an Apple Watch. So I bought one and I put it on. And it was like, yo, health age is 71. I was like, damn, reset this. You know, and now, I'm at a party last week, somebody's like, man, what's this workout? I said, man, I do about 500 sit-ups a week now. You know, which I couldn't do 50 a couple years, and now it's just part of the routine. So again, just making yourself create the habit. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. You gotta get your ass up and get in the gym. It don't matter how I feel about it. So, and from that, my wife is now a client. She's working out at 4:30 in the morning. My daughter works out, my kids work out, and it all started because I started working out. So
Small. Everybody? Okay, awesome. All right. So last question, and then we'll let the audience ask any questions so we can wrap up. If you could go back in time and have a conversation with your 18-year-old self about your health journey, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? I know what I would tell my 18-year-old self, and that would be keep running, which I still do, but that your mental health really trumps it all. I went down a path career-wise as a computer engineer when I was young, and by the time I was 27, I was on high blood pressure medication, and I was overweight, but I was thriving in my career, and so I've had those types of struggles past few years, a lot healthier, no medication, you know what I mean, still running. So I would definitely tell myself, like, hey, the stress will kill you, and the mental health piece of it is probably where you want to start. How would y'all approach that?
Well, I was a Division I athlete at 18. I took a lot of that, running that being 300 pounds, running an 8-minute mile, talking to somebody for granted. I would tell myself, it's a journey. Be cool. I mean, go after it right now. Be as great as you can be, because there will come a time when you look at 315 on a bar and you're like, hell no. But I can do this 135, right? I would also, of course, like you, I would probably, flexibility, man. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about when you get older, you stiff as hell in the morning? And you know, and you got to do some serious training to your body to just do normal stuff.
you got 20 seconds.
I'm just saying. So I'm working on that flexibility.
I guess I would just tell my 18-year-old self, you are enough. Because life has a way, especially Black women, of letting you know that you're not good enough, you're not cute enough, you're not tiny enough, small enough, all these things. So that's what I would tell my 18-year-old self, you are enough.
I think I would just say, continue to go with what you know. The way I am now is the way I've always been. And I know people say that all the time, but if I go back and talk to my friends who I've been friends with for, 30 years, they're like, you're the same. Like I've always kind of had the same mindset. Of course, I've grown spiritually, mentally, professionally, etc. But the core of who I am is the same. So you just keep going. I mean, go with what you know, and getting it every single day. And I mean, that's what I've always done, and that's what I continue to do.
When I was 18, I was a vegan and in the best shape of my life. And I will say something happens when you get married and start having children. And something, a lot of things. And so if I could go back and talk to my 18-year-old self, I would tell my 18-year-old self that you are a priority and to not, of all the sacrifices, to not sacrifice that. And that if I am not taken care of, then how could I take care of everything else?
Just simply put, like I came out of college, I think I was 264, and I sit here today, probably less than 264. Back then, it's built different. What's up here? But then it fell down. So it's just different, right? It's just right. And I'm trying to get it to move back up here, but that takes time. So it was like, what do you want to do? And I found this picture of the 50-year-old Mike Tyson. I was like, kid, this is what I want to do. I didn't tell y'all too much. I was like, man, I want to buy some Versace drawers. It's something I feel like I got to do. They don't make them that big. And what I've learned, what I would tell my 18-year-old self is to love yourself. You're going to be all right. And it's a lot easier to stay fit than it is to get fat and then you try to get fit again. There's a lot more work in that.
Thank y'all for sharing. Let's give our panel a round of applause. So I think we have a little bit of time for some questions. So who wants to ask a question to the panel? Go ahead, Kevin. We knew Kevin was going to ask a question.
Not a question, it's more so just an appreciation. Like, I have numerous stories of during our sessions where I feel like I was being poured more into myself than I was poured into you guys. Like, I love business, I love learning, and I mean, the fact that you see that I'm ambitious and you're wanting to like, okay, let me just give him a nugget. Just a quick nugget. You don't have to do that. You're paying me for a service. You don't have to pour into me. So just because you guys did that, like, I don't take that for granted. Like, I sometimes during a final session, I'm like, hold on, say it again, let me write it down. Like, I truly appreciate you guys. Like, really. For real.
Appreciate you. Real quick, and I think I can say this on behalf of everybody that's interacted with you guys. You definitely you all pour into us. I remember vividly a workout session where I came in and I was in tears. You remember this?
Yes.
And I was going through a really difficult time, and Kevin was like, man, you sure you want to work out today? And I was like, shit, I'm here. Like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? And we got through the work. I got through the workout, and I felt amazing afterward. And Kevin was like, hang in there, man. You're going to be all right. Just that kind of encouragement. We all go through stuff. Nobody's immune to it. And I think fitness can save you from a lot of the struggle. So thank you all.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's a comment and then a question. So in addition to the workout, Kevin has an ecosystem of ancillary services. The Charlene, I don't know if any of y'all use Charlene.
Yeah, I'm Lord.
Okay. So in addition to the workout, what I have found is that there are other pieces to that journey of becoming healthy and well. So the recovery portion of working out in addition to the dietary piece. Can you all speak to what your recovery portion of your health and wellness journey looks like, and then your nutritional, because we've got someone here who is doing vegan, vegetarian. What did you change on the food end?
Well, for me, another thing that kicked me in the short, so my journey was COVID made me predisposed to diabetes. You know, I come back from vacation, blood sugar is 300. Like Christ was 300. Whereas when I was 440 pounds, it was 86. But after COVID, it changed. So I started, what works for me is a lot of protein, a lot of fiber. So that's meat and vegetables. You know, we let that bread sit on the sideline where we can. But I think it's kind of poetic that we're at 80-20 social, because it is about 80-20 balance. And I'm not going to kick myself for eating a piece of pizza with my sons, right? I just know, hey, well, you had that, let's get some vegetables, let's get some water, you know, things like that. As far as the actual protocol for me, I work out a couple times a week with Kev, and then I started building in strength training on Saturdays. I do get weekly lymphatic massages. You don't have to do that, but I tell you, it makes a difference. I wish I could, I'm probably going to add back in a stretching component because, like I said, you get stiff. And then I just try to get up and move my body. I put in my watch to get up on the hour outside of my Apple Watch, to get up and walk around, because you're in the office and you tend to just sit, right? It's like, man, we get up and walk around 3-4 minutes. You feel a lot better. So that's part of my routine.
So I too do weekly massages with Charlene. They're very helpful. I tend to really push myself when I'm working out. I tend to lift heavy weight. And so Kevin was like, you know, with the way that you work out, you probably need to do massages every week. And it has really changed the way that I work out and the way that I feel in between my workouts. And I work out about 5 times a week when I can, most weeks. And then dietary stuff, and even with working out, I tell Kevin all the time, it's a daily battle.
Yes.
And not only is it a daily battle, it is a meal by meal battle for me. And so that, you know, when I wake up and I have to make a conscious effort to try to wait until 8 o'clock to eat, and then I make my conscious effort to just only do my protein shake. And then, you know, because when we go to the physician's lounge, yesterday they had chicken and waffle shop.
Yes.
And so, you know, for me, it is a literal battle with each meal, and I have to make that conscious effort, and you know, again, inside my own head, and say, hey, look, make a better choice, do better or not. I had chicken and waffle yesterday. But you know, like myself said, you can't win all the time. You know, just as long as I'm winning 80% of the time.
That's right.
I win. So, I mean, it's a daily battle. It is a meal by meal battle. And again, I do the massages every week. Unlike Charlene beats you up.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Yes, she does.
And then water.
Yeah.
Water. So.
I work out 5 days a week with Kev, and in the beginning, I would come out the gym, and she'd go, how's your workout? And I'd be like, you're trying to kill me. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of them, and I would tell them, I'd be like, man, if you keep this up, like, I ain't no quitter with my wife, I might go out. Like, 45 minutes here and 45 minutes home. And I had to make a decision that either I could go virtual or I would stop, but I am not a quitter. So we set up a gym where we just do it virtually every morning. And the time's somewhere between 7 and 8 a.m. And I'll do cardio before that or after that, and then I'll be done with the day. What I found is that the better my workout is in the morning, the more it sets the tone for my day. I'm naturally anxious, and for people who don't know me, I was a workaholic, so I'm used to moving all day. And then when I stopped working, I would just buzz around the house bumping into stuff and getting on my wife's nerves. And then when I started working out, I found it sort of it sort of calmed me down. I was like, I gotta work out. We do the massages, we do the workout. The food has been the trickiest part. You can have it prepped, but I haven't had a lot of luck with the consistency on the prep. But then I learned how to make a lot of the stuff that they were making, and that has sustained me in a really great way. So I'm excited that you have talent here that can prep, and that mushroom soup is off the chain. So I'm looking forward to engaging in that. And then working out in addition to the 5, like just breaking it up. I might go for a bike ride on a Saturday, or I might go for a 2 or 3 mile walk if the weather's nice. Like just making sure that physical activity is not necessarily a workout, but something that is a part of every day. And pulling all that together has definitely improved all of my numbers and just the way I feel.
So I also get massages, not with Ms. Charlene, I don't know Ms. Charlene, but I do get massages. I go to bed at like 7:45. I don't even play the games. So I'm trying to get as much sleep as I can, water for sure. And the stretching, like I don't skip the stretching. Like it just makes a difference when you do the stretching. I do work out 7 days a week. Sunday is an hour walk, and so it's a little bit less intense. And there's a hydro massage that I do there at Planet Fitness. Unprocessed foods has been a game changer for me. And what that has really meant for me is to just cook at home.
Yeah.
So I'll be cooking, y'all. So, I'm gonna do some turkey necks and some fresh green beans and maybe cut up some baby potatoes. I've made red beans and rice and brown rice. So it really, that has just been a game changer. The other thing, the caveat is that I live alone. So I don't have little people in my house that I have to worry about. And I feel blessed that I don't have to navigate that space, because I can imagine that it's very, very challenging. And then, being a professor is like a super flexible life. So I just have to go to campus when I gotta teach my class. That's it, basically. So it's been wonderful to be able to do the foods and the nutrition, and that's just really helped. So unprocessed foods is basically what I've been doing. Yeah.
I can speak to that really quick. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
No. Go ahead.
I get complete massages too, but not for the working out. So this is good to know that I'm on the right track. I've been using it as a stress relief and from work, but I used to have a really big sugar appetite, and when things shifted more mentally than anything, now my body craves protein, and I tell myself still, okay, you can have the cupcakes, but after I eat the protein, I don't want it anymore. And so that has been how I shifted.
So real quick, I grew up with Ghanaian cuisine. My parents are from West Africa. A lot of carbs, a lot of flavor, right? So that's kind of how I was raised. And so my barrier has always been food. I've always been a runner and a cyclist. And I'll get my cardio in, but then the food would just be a wreck. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I got to a place of no beef, no pork. So I don't eat beef, I don't eat pork. And at home, we only have tea, water, sparkling water, and almond milk. So we don't have any sodas or any juice at home. So when I'm at the house, I'm good. It's when I leave the house, and now I'm in the government space, I'm doing a lot of external stuff. It's been very difficult. Yesterday, I spoke at an event at the Aloft Hotel. I'm leaving to go to another meeting. I'm already about 5 minutes late. And when I walked out, I saw the guy coming with the chocolate chip cookie tray. Y'all, chocolate chip cookies and me are like, me like here, right? And so I was thinking in that moment, I literally stopped, I put my bag down and I said, okay, do I have time to go back and get some cookies? Because I'm already late for this meeting. That's how real it is. I didn't get the cookies. Instead, I left and went and did the meeting and then stopped at Kroger, bought some vegan cookies and baked them at home. So just to, give y'all some real, it's hard. My wife did do an order with Chef Lola last week. We did have the food. We watched that Netflix, You Are What You Eat. We've kind of stopped the meat train for a little bit just to fill out the vegan and stuff. And it's been going well. But most people work at 8 to 5. It's hard. It's very hard when you're an entrepreneur. You do have more control over your day. Or when you're in the academic world, you have a lot more flexibility. But when you're working in an 8 to 5 context, and then trying to find time for fitness on the front end or back end with the wife and kids, I can see the struggle because I'm living that right now. Yeah.
Can I just add that, so I travel a lot. And one of the things I had to get focused real quick was you cannot get caught in the streets without your snacks. So y'all know, first of all, the airport, they don't never have a healthy food. So I started packing my own food. So the almonds, the skinny pop popcorn, like all these things that I can, that are healthy. And that has saved me so many times, because if you come out of a 2-hour meeting or whatever, and you need a little something, you just reach right in your bag and you get your almonds. That has really, 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 really helped me to be consistent with like snacking. Now Kevin knows I like dark chocolate, so every now and then I do have dark chocolate, but being prepared, you have to be proactive and be prepared and pack your food. So even at the 8 to 5 job, throw your, take your snacks with you and have them right there, apples, fruit, whatever, so you can just reach and eat something healthy.
And one thing too, just if your food doesn't mold in 2 or 3 days, you really don't need to be eating it. You know what I'm saying? Like the petrified foods when you're walking through and it's all like salted up. Man, your body has a hard time with that stuff. But you can eat you some veggies, something that you prepare. All right? That's the thing, man. The unsalted almonds.
Yeah.
If you need some salt, sprinkle some salt on that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's small stuff you don't think about. But from a flavor perspective, these companies, they pack that stuff on. I watched the same special.
I have just a quick question. Great job to all you guys. How many of you guys do meditation consistently? I teach meditation to executives, and one of the reasons I ask that is because I hear us talk about bodies a lot, and I don't hear where we have a great practice of being quiet and being still, and what does that look like? So I trained with Dr. Kofi Koscielny from Morehouse School of Medicine. One of the things that he trained and he teaches transcendental. How do you get to a space where you can have no thoughts through being trained or taught from a meditation perspective? And for most of us, we're so busy and thoughts are always ruling everything that we do, what I didn't do, what I need to do. And we sometimes miss the presence moment of being present. I just think that, that is just a real healthy thing. If you're not doing it, it would be something really put into a real consistent way of being and doing what you do. It's being present in that moment from a meditative state of being, so your body, your mind, and everything is all connected together.
Thank you for sharing that, Ron. I do meditate. And when I started, it was very hard for me to quiet my mind because my brain is just always spinning. And what I do now is, my wife bought me this journal. It's called Jesus Listens. It has all these scriptures, things in it. And I start reading that first, then I'll take some notes, then I'll stop and do my meditation. So I have that as a prompt to get me into that. And that, it helps me a lot because I discover so much in those moments of trying to be quiet. So yeah, I'm an advocate for meditation. Yeah.
I guess I'll just say Kevin teaches us to breathe, like these deep breaths, you know, like big ones. And so I've been doing that when I'm doing my vacuums,
Yeah.
which is when I have the opportunity to just shut it all down and just, like you said, be present in the moment. But I think those deep breaths really help. You were gonna say something.
Yeah, I got a question. So, man, the way the world is looking today is not getting any healthier.
Right.
People are still dying. Processed foods is still being made. Like, what advice would y'all give the next generation?
Cook on Sundays, prep your protein, get your rice cooker. You know,
Work out
that's it.
Yeah,
and make it fun.
make it fun.
You know, I know we talk about, Trey doing the push-ups and everything. The girls do the same thing. Hey, mama, we want to work out. You want to work out? We want to work out too. You know, so that's what you want. You want them to do. You want to see them, have them see it as something that's not a chore, and get it now. It's like Turtle said, it's easier to be fit than get fit.
Right.
Right? So, if you're already there, you're good. It's just that much more difficult to get to that point.
Yeah.
I'll add, I'll speak to this and I'm gonna go to Aaron. I think Steve Jobs said that if you don't take your food as medicine, then you'll end up taking your medicine as food. Meaning, you eat because it's medicine, and that's helped me a lot. I was eating something that was vegan the other day and it didn't really taste all that good, but I told myself I'm not eating it because it tastes good, I'm eating it because it's good for my body. So I've just tried to shift away from even caring what it tastes like. Is it healthy? I'm gonna eat it, even if I don't like it. That's never been how I approach food, because I'm always looking for that really deep flavor. But what I would tell young people is go outside. I love being outdoors, and I love being in the sun. I love being in the trees. I go to all the greenway parks in the city. White people be out there.
Right?
They be outside. Like, literally outside. They looking at me like, you be outside? Yeah, I'm outside. So that's what I would say. This next generation, that's going to be their struggle. They allergic to the sun, because of the tech and the devices. So be outside.
Aaron, go ahead. Hey, I honestly just want to say that this is really encouraging because I love fitness and health and all those things, but the community aspect, because you all have validated a lot of my thoughts and a lot of things that I think are just private, isolated, insular to me. I've heard a lot of colorful commentary, a lot of funny things from this panel today. And I just want to say that it's really encouraging because it kind of gives me the fortitude to push the narrative forward, because like in my household, like my family, they see me modeling behavior, but they think that's daddy's thing. Like, and I can be no nonsense, compassionate about my work and what I'm gonna do, but I've heard like really special nuggets from everyone, and I just want to say I'm encouraged. So I think the other side of this fitness journey for me, because I realize like I share things on social media, but in my actual journey, I can be isolated because I'm like, something, you're not about to get me off my track. But I'm really just taking in the value of community and hearing this type of discussion because it validates this piece. Because I'm realizing, Aaron, hey, bro, you actually do need this type of support. And I've been holding a lot up on my own in this fitness journey, but to hear y'all, I'm like, man, y'all doing a lot of the stuff that I do, and to hear the perspectives around how you all are engaging in it is really encouraging. So I just want to say kudos, and this is more of a soul-filling thing for me, because the behavior is there, but it's like, oh, yes, this is a humanistic thing that humans like to do too. So I just want to say I appreciate it and gratitude.
Awesome. Appreciate you saying that. One more question. We'll take one more question. Does anyone else have a question? No more questions?
Question.
Go ahead, Kevin, get the last question.
So I'm thinking of, so for those who don't know me, I'm super ambitious. I told everyone, probably a few years ago, not a few years ago, when I met Daryl Freeman, that I want to be a billionaire. And in the beginning, it was for the wrong reasons. Like, I didn't grow up with wealth. I want it. But now it's really to just pay it forward in a big way. Like, if I can do something major that would transform the minds of the next generation, like, that would really touch my heart in a way where, like, I'll feel whole. Like, money is money, but, like, the feeling of giving back and really seeing, you know, each person on the panel, like, change their life with the busy schedule, like, that is a really good feeling. So, again, I appreciate that.
Kevin, look, man, what I tell you all the time is you've changed the world already. Anything you do from here on out is just going to be continuing to build the legacy of what you and Jay have created, but the compounding effects of the families and the generations of young people that are going to benefit from what you all started, that's been done already. So when you think about your life, don't think of it in the sense of I want to make that impact. You're making it. It's been made. Look at everybody up here. You know, I think I counted about 500 pounds. So, you know, that's y'all's legacy. That's y'all's impact. And last thing I'll say, I'll be remiss to say this if I didn't. This is a business, 80-20 fitness, 80-20 social. These are entrepreneurs. And so while we're having this conversation about health and building wealth and thinking about longevity, we're also supporting business owners in our community. And I don't want us to miss that moment. And so as you all leave this place, think about Kevin, think about Jay, think about 80-20 Fitness and what they've done for all of us sitting here, community people in the audience, and how can we continue to rally around these two incredible entrepreneurs who have a great vision for our community. So I'll leave it there.
Thank you. Selfie. Oh, Kevin, get up. I was not talking about you when you did it, y'all.
Testing. Quick message. So I wanna shout out the vendors. They really put in a lot of work, and they would love for you to come by and check out what they have to offer. So please check it out.
Wait, I've never met AJ. Oh, wait. What y'all about to get? Waterfall. Waterfall. I'm going to take a nap. Yeah. You know what? I think I will too. I should be like prepping for class on Monday. But you had all week off and then you have to do virtual. Well, Monday,